welcome back. So today's video is going to be a super beginner friendly, back to basics type of video. It's also going to have a little bit of Q&A mixed in, and then at the end we're going to get into some super easy nail art. So I think the first step with getting a nice smooth dip powder application is you always want to make sure you're stirring up your dip powders. I don't always show that on camera, but I do always do it. I am going to use my water marble tool to go around my cuticles. That is linked in the description box. I get asked a lot about that. It's always been linked in the description box ever since I started using it. So for liquids, I'm using my Model 1's dip liquids today. As you can see, I'm wiping off both sides of my base brush just so that I don't get too much liquid on there. It is a thinner consistency liquid, and sometimes a little bead of the base can sometimes stay up above the brush. I also try to keep in mind that since I have builder gel on plus peel base on top of that, my nails are already starting with a super smooth surface to begin with. So that's another reason I want to get as much liquid off of the brush as possible, because thinner liquids can run a bit, and with me already starting with a smooth surface, if it's gonna run, it's gonna run and it's gonna be noticeable. So I do the thinnest amount of a dip layer on there as possible. I try to think of it as like only enough just to get the nail wet so that the powder is going to stick on. And then as far as dipping, you will see that I turn my whole hand upside down and I do the best to just lay my finger on top of the powder. I think that that makes for a really super smooth application as well. You are going to see when I do my second dip on my thumb, I am going to actually dip my thumb in there so that you can kind of see the difference. If you have too much liquid on your brush and then you put that on your nail and then you dip in, I think that's how some people end up getting bumps, because when you dip right into the powder, it can move your base around that's on your nail and kind of push it. So you'll end up with lumps and clumps and stuff like that. Even though everybody says, you know, just file, which, you know, you can do, you can file, but you always kind of have to keep in mind that even when you're to the filing process of doing your nails, you still, if you file too much, you're gonna file color off your nail. So I totally get wanting to have a smoother application just so you don't have to file and buff as much and risk any of that gorgeous color coming off of your nail. But as you can see, I tilt my hand upside down and I do my best to just lay my finger right on top of the powder. And then I go around with my water marble tool and just clean up around my cuticles really well. I think another thing that could be helpful for you is when you first put your base brush down onto your nail, don't put it all the way to your cuticle as soon as you lay it down, because that first initial kind of connection between the brush and your nail is where it's going to deposit the most amount of liquid. So try kind of putting it in the center of your nail and then fanning your brush down towards your cuticle, and that might help you to not get those lumps and bumps also. So now I have talked through my first dip. I'm going to get into some of this Q&A portion really quick. Some of these questions are nail related. Some of them are kind of YouTuber influencer type of questions. All the questions that I got through DM on Facebook and Instagram, whenever I get a question through Messenger, I always assume that you guys don't want me to say your name. So I will not say names for those couple questions that I am going to answer. So I'm going to do all of the nail related questions first. And the first one is from Kendall. She asked, how did dip inspire you, and did you ever expect to be an ambassador for different companies? So Dip has definitely inspired me. It's kind of funny how I found Dip. I didn't even really know it was a thing when I first found it. I was getting my nails done for like 15 plus years. My husband got sick and medical bills were just astronomical. I couldn't afford to get my nails done anymore. And my nails were always super thin and brittle, and I could never grow them out past like nail bed length without them breaking. So I was just kind of Googling one day what I could do to strengthen my nails, and a video for a Kiss brand dip kit came up, and I immediately like went to Walgreens the next day, got it, and I used that for about a year, and I did the whole sandwich technique with the clear dip and then nail polish on top of that, and then clear dip again on top of that to encapsulate the nail polish color. I didn't even know that like Triple D and Sparkle&Co and Rebel, I didn't even know they were a thing, and I didn't find out about them until like a year after. So I used a very cheap Walgreens, well no, about 6 months after the Walgreens kit, I found Color Club at Walmart. So I had those colors, and then I went to Sally's and found a couple more, and then I discovered Revel first. It kind of just randomly popped up as an ad on Facebook, and I got that for myself for a birthday present. So that is how I discovered Dip. I've just always loved all things art. Ever since I could probably hold a pencil, I've been coloring, painting, oil pastels, all that stuff. And I still do it now. I still paint. I still have a bunch of adult coloring books, and it's an anxiety reliever for me. It really, really, really is. But any form of art that you can express yourself in, I really love. So I've always wanted to do cosmetology since I was probably like 8 years old, like the real cute like hairdos. So every wedding or any special event that we had in our family, I was doing every single woman's hair, every single one of them. And then I think it was high school when I took a couple cosmetology trade classes. That's when I kind of found the love for nails, just because they teach you a little bit of all of it: makeup, hair, nails, all that stuff. So I think that was, I don't know, I think that was probably what started it for me. So the other half of her question was, did you ever expect to be an ambassador for different companies? So believe it or not, I am only an ambassador for one company, and that didn't even happen until a couple months ago. It wasn't that long ago. So the only company I'm actually an ambassador for is Triple D. I had other opportunities to be ambassadors for other companies, and I said no. Not that they're bad companies, not at all. Love their stuff. I don't know. It's more than, I feel like when you are becoming an ambassador, it should be more than, okay, I like their stuff. Like, I want to actually have a relationship with the people on the team, everybody involved. And with Triple D, I definitely had that months before I even became an ambassador. Like, we all just chit-chatted all the time in the different dip community groups and on Facebook chat. So yeah, Triple D is the only one that I'm actually an ambassador for. I am a affiliate for a couple other ones, but not an actual ambassador. And there is quite a difference between affiliate and ambassador, but if I got into that, we wouldn't have time for the rest of this video. So, I don't know, maybe that'll be a video for another time if you guys want, or if you're interested in that type of stuff. I don't know. So I'm going to put my little Q&A portion on hold for just a quick minute, because I am doing my second dip on my thumb. This is the one I told you I was going to actually dip into, and I decided I was going to do it on my thumb because my thumb doesn't really show up in many pictures if it turned out being too bumpy. So I again am applying just a thin coat of base on my thumb. You need a little bit more base on your second layer, but I always try not to do too much. And I know that watching my videos, it takes me forever to put my base on my nail. Gabe has pointed this out, other people have pointed it out, but I would rather do just enough base on my nail than risk trying to rush and do it fast and get too much on there. So you'll see I'm just dipping in, and I don't know if you can see that, but towards, I'm going to point it out right there, it did create a little bit of a bump, even though I had a thin amount of liquid. So play around. If you do enjoy just dipping right in there, try different angles if you're getting bumps. I found that laying right into the powder works best. You could even do pour over method. So after my second dip, I like to take a hard scrubby brush and really get off all that extra powder off my nails. I do this mainly just because I'm going to clear cap and I don't really want any color getting into my clear. Now, aside from me doing my clear dip to encapsulate and protect the color underneath, I almost kind of think of clear as, so in makeup terms, when you were done your foundation and your concealer and all that stuff, you would put on like a setting powder to set your face. It kind of works as like a blurring type of powder too. So I feel like clear does that for dip powder too. You'll see after I dip my thumb that as soon as I dip into the clear, that bump is almost not even visible anymore. So I'm going to dip into my clear. I'm going to get back to my Q&A while you guys are watching. Hopefully I get through all these questions. If not, we may have to do a little Q&A part 2. And if we have to, you guys are more than welcome to ask me more questions. So to finish Carla's question, what is my thought process to create your manis? What kind of techniques do you use picking out colors? Lately, ever since I watched Carol Nett's video, I really look at everything, every single thing like a mani. So I'll go on Pinterest and I'll just look up color palette boards or different kinds of wallpaper, different kinds of fabric, anything really, like scenery pictures, all that type of stuff. And then I just go through my dips and try to find the colors that I think would create the best mani for that. Sometimes it's just a mani inspo pic that I see off of Instagram that I want to recreate and just kind of put my twist on it. So I'll maybe do the same color in the color family, but not the exact color. I try not to duplicate other manis to a T. I like to always put my little twist on them, but I always do give credit where credit is due. If there is a certain person that inspired a certain mani, just because I feel like that's the right thing to do, even if you put a twist on it. I feel like if someone inspires you, you should always give credit where credit is due. So Mama2Crazy5 is her name on Instagram. She asked, what intimidates you in regards to nails, of course. For example, French manis intimidate the hell out of me. We've all been there. I've never done one. Okay, spill all the deets. Everything intimidates me until I do it, to be honest. Like when I first got into the Facebook groups, I saw a bunch of girls doing, the glitter ombres, and I had never done one, and I was terrified to do it. And then I did one, and I realized it wasn't as hard as I thought it was going to be. Now, solid color ombres, you got to practice a little bit more with those. French mani was definitely intimidating. For me, I watched a bunch of videos. I do feel like French mani is probably one of very few that kind of practicing on swatches really doesn't help much, because for a French mani, I think the key for that is all in how you position your finger to dip it into your French dipping tray or your jar dip or however you're doing it. So I would challenge you to try a French mani. Sometimes the the manis that look the most intricate and the most intimidating, sometimes once you do them, you realize it's not as bad as you thought it was going to be. So I would challenge you to do a French mani, and then I want to see a picture of it. So Simple Life asked, have you ever applied full cover tips with peel base? Have you ever used polygel with peel base? I use peel base on everything. If you're talking about peel base underneath, I know a couple, I've seen a couple videos where girls do that. They'll do the peel base first and then put the tips on top. I've never done that. Well, to be completely honest, I spend a good amount of time doing my nails, as do most of us. I don't really want to put in all that hard work and have the whole entire tip come off. Because when I do tips, it takes a hot minute. So I've done full cover tips and then peel base on top. I've also done polygel with peel base on top. I'm just going to be honest, I hate polygel. It's an OCD thing for me. I'm weird with texture, and polygel was just too messy, and it had a real gritty, like granulated sugar texture that I couldn't get down with that. So I gave all my polygel away. So now I'm doing my 2 coats of activator. I'm going to let my nails sit and get nice and hard. I don't know if you could tell, but about 30 seconds before this, the video got a little bit darker. Thank goodness I had my ring light on. Apparently Gabe decided it was time for bed, and he just turned all the lights out on me. So I ended up letting this mani sit, and then I filed and buffed in my bedroom where I could turn the light on without disturbing the little king over here. So yeah, I actually let this set sit overnight and then came back and did the nail art. I was so nervous to let these sit overnight. I was so afraid I was gonna wake up and have like nails popped off in my bed. So these are awesome. Barbara Nicole in my Facebook group did her Jewels Mani challenge, and it's gorgeous. You guys need to go in the group and see it. But she used these paint pens to do her nail art. And as soon as she told me they were paint pens, I was like, okay, I need the link right now. So this is the first time I'm trying them out. I did go ahead and do my index and my thumb off camera just because I wanted to kind of practice with it just a little bit. And I forgot to show it in the very beginning of the video. I did do gel base on all of my nails. I cured it for 30 seconds and then I wiped away that tacky layer. So this set of markers, I did get it off Amazon. It was like 36 bucks, but you get 30 markers. So I went ahead and I picked this kind of lemony lime color. I know, I picked a greenish color, but new year, I'm gonna make green love me this year. Probably not gonna happen. And then I'm gonna do black. And when I tell you, these are so freaking easy. Like, I've been doing swatches of designs that I've been trying to do with like gel and a nail art brush that I have not been able to do. I can do it with these pens. And keep in mind, I'm doing my non-dominant hand. So I am just going to kind of outline some not perfect circles, and then I literally just let it sit. I go ahead and do my other nails, and then I'm gonna do the black outlines and the little spots. I did mess up on my pinky, so I did include that in this video just so you can see how easy it is to take this off if you mess up. And you guys, I was able to do gel top coat over these with no smearing. So I will have all this stuff linked down below while you guys watch. Oh, and this is real time. So you get to see how quick I was able to do nail art, because usually I have to edit a lot of the nail art part, because sometimes I will take just as long, if not longer, doing nail art than actually dipping my nails. So now I'm going to get back into my Q&A. So this is going to be kind of the influencer YouTube type of questions. So my girl Jess Frag says, I want to know about your intro. Did you make it? If so, what app? Yes, I made my intro. Come to find out, I had the app on my iPhone the whole time. It's just an app on my phone called Keynote, and I made it with that. The rest of the questions are questions that were sent to me through Messenger, so I'm not going to say any names. What do I use to film with? So I have my ring light. I actually have, depending on what type of day, because my house doesn't really have the best lighting, I have a couple of ring lights. I have my phone mount, and then I just film with my iPhone. Nothing special. I don't have a expensive high-tech camera. I do actually plan to get one, not because I don't like my phone. I just don't like the fact that I have to keep like deleting Facebook every time I need to upload a video because the storage on my phone just cannot keep up with the videos. Oh, this one's funny. Someone asked, how old is Gabe? He sounded like he was 20 in the voiceover video he did. He's only 13. He went to bed one night like 10 years old, and the next morning woke up a grown-ass man. His voice is so deep. It's so weird. I'll be on the phone with people, and they'll be like, is there a guy at your house? And I'll be like, nope, just Gabe. Just Gabe. All right, so that is all of the actual questions. If you guys would like for me to do more Q&As, let me know, and let me know if you have any questions you want me to answer. I am pretty much an open book. It takes a lot to embarrass me. It really does. So ask me anything you would like. So this last one I'm going to speak of for a hot minute. It's not a question, obviously, but I see on Facebook and Instagram a lot different posts and comments like, oh, so-and-so got free PR, and this company sent so-and-so this, and da-da-da, and just not so nice type of comments. Even though, yes, influencers, YouTube, whatever, are sent free stuff to do reviews with, you know, they've put in time to get to where they are to even have a company notice them and want to reach out for them to try stuff out. Also, if you do a video, you know, you gotta do the mani, film the video, edit the video, voiceover if you do voiceover. And then there's the whole like YouTube part where you have to upload and then do the description box. I know for me, filming the mani, editing, voiceover, upload, editing my description box for each video takes me about 4 hours just for one mani video. So if you were to actually times that by whatever the minimum wage is, I know here it's $15 an hour, that's $60. So, you know, we're not paid to do these videos. It's promotion for the brand. If the brand chooses to, you know, show our mani pics, which a lot of the times they don't. Sometimes they give us links to share with you guys. Other times they don't. So, I mean, I don't really consider it free stuff. You know, we're helping out a brand. We're sharing a product. We're sharing it with you guys. So there is that. So I'm just finishing up my nail art portion. If you guys struggle with doing any kind of nail art, I highly, highly recommend getting these acrylic paint pens. These are $35.99, I think they were, off Amazon. If those are a little pricey for you, there are cheaper paint pens on Amazon. Just make sure you get acrylic ones. Make sure you get the extra fine tipped ones as well. So here you can see where I messed up my pinky. All I'm doing is taking just a little bit of alcohol on a lint-free wipe, and it wipes right off. Don't have to use acetone. Here's when I finally remembered, like, oh, I should show them that I did gel base first. I did my gel base, I cured, and then I did wipe off the sticky layer just because you don't want to go in with the acrylic paint markers over the top. Some people don't even do a gel base. They'll just paint right over their dip powder. I don't like to do that just because I find that, maybe it's just me, my dip powder seems to absorb stuff even after I've filed and buffed it. So sometimes I can get away with cleaning it off. Other times it'll leave a little bit of like the color still on there. So for me, I always like to have a protective layer on my nails. So I've yapped through this whole entire video pretty much. So I'm gonna let you guys watch. I'm gonna stop talking and let you guys watch me finish up my little curved leopard print design. I've kind of been obsessed with the curved accent nails. I figured I did it in tortoise, might as well do it in leopard. And now I think I should do it in all the animal print. Okay, now I'm gonna stop talking and let you guys watch me finish this up. I did go ahead, let it dry for 10 minutes, and then I did my gel top coat. So I will let you guys watch, and I'll be back to show you the final look. who ordered and are still waiting on the Triple D anniversary box, don't look, close your eyes, don't look. There is my Triple D anniversary box mani. I could not wait to use those colors. They are so gorgeous. That glitter mix is insane. Insane. She killed it with this box, you guys. You need to join the Triple D group and turn notifications on. Keep an eye out when she drops these boxes because they just keep getting better and better. So now I'm going in with my Candy Skincare Cuticle Oil. I got these rollers off of Amazon. I love them. They dispense like the perfect amount of oil every single time. I believe Candy Skincare is now offering roller pens as well, so you can check those out. But I will leave a link for the oil rollers that I am using. You can refill them, which I think is great. The cuticle pens, you can refill them, but they're a little bit of a pain in the ass. So I'm just gonna get this massaged in. We're gonna pretend like my eczema is not flaring up, and we're gonna ignore that. So this is how my mani turned out. I hope it was helpful. If you guys want a Q&A part 2, let me know. Leave your questions down below. That rhymed. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will catch you in my next vid. Bye, guys.